Welcome back, trainers. So I took some time off for my birthday yesterday and I just didn't upload it. Just relaxed and hung out with family and friends. But there's been some more information now regarding Pokemon Go. Of course, as soon as you leave somewhere, everything changes. You know, when you're at work and you take a couple days off and you go back and everything is rearranged. That's kind of how I felt about this situation. So we have Rotoms now introduced. Well, not quite. We have their icons found within the data mine. And what are Rotoms? Well, basically a electric ghost type that possesses other appliances and will become those appliances and become that type. So the fan one will be electric flying, the grass, electric grass, and then we have this one, the heater, electric fire. All right, so we're over here on Trails' Twitter. I will be leaving a link in the description so you can go check them out yourself here. Now, I do currently have version 0.137.1, but none of these updates or features have gone live quite yet, okay? So what he found here is quite a few things, including Arceus, which is quite exciting. We will be going over that as well on how I think they're going to introduce it. I do believe I made a video a while back, as well as the Rotoms, just going over their stats, but let's make a refresher. It's been several months now. So avatar poses added, which I'm assuming that's going to be while you're looking at yourself and your buddy and then your stats. You're just going to have a new pose there. It could be in multiple different places, but who knows? We'll just have to wait and see when they add that. Cries optimized, new sounds for PvP, buffs, debuffs. So we don't have debuffs quite yet, but when we do get those, what that means is lowering stats. So if you're not familiar with the main series games, yes, you can lower your opponent's stats depending on what move you're using. So this game in PvP is going to get a lot more interesting in the future because you're going to have a lot of these different types of things happening, buffs, debuffs, and who knows if they'll add other things like substitute in the future. And substitute is a thing where you can essentially put up a barrier around yourself for a certain amount of health, and that barrier, it's like a little stuffed animal basically, and substitute for you will take so much damage and then you will go back into the fight. It's kind of like just taking the brute hit for you. Anyways, going on here, Pokecoin purchase, new display, went into my app itself and there is nothing different yet quite there. Pokedex rework, multi-forms Spinda. So I believe there's like 20 different Spinda forms now within the game. So they're not quite released yet. Deoxys and Arceus. So I'm assuming Deoxys is going to get a new form coming in very soon, which is going to be about time, right? The attack form I found quite nice because you were able to actually go to an EX raid and solo that yourself. Before they did the buff for the raids, it was super simple, and now it's pretty easy. Personally, for me, whenever I do this, I don't tend to use Mewtwo or Tyranitar because I want it to be a challenge. I did actually have another solo for you guys that I did a couple days ago, but I accidentally deleted that. So, oh well, it's all right. What, you've seen me do it like 10 times already. And then Arceus. So, wow, this is exciting. So anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and hop into the Go Hub and take a look at the Rotom stats and see what they have going on for it. So as you can see here, we have Rotom Heat, Fan, then a regular Rotom, that's what it originally starts off as, Electric and Ghost. And then you can see the various different types here, according to whatever appliance it goes into. Rotom Mow, Grass obviously, Rotom Frost, Ice, Rotom Wash. And in the main series games, personally, I think the Wash and Grass were the most useful ones, especially in tournaments. Rotom Wash especially, is because of their specific moves they had. So anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and look at the regular Rotom and start it off there. I also need to add the reason why the other Rotoms were so good in the main series games is because they had abilities which pretty much nullified one of their weaknesses, and that ability was called Levitate. So electric types are going to be weak to ground, so it was not able to be hit by ground type moves, which was pretty darn good. Anyways, we're starting it off with this one here. Not too sure how they're going to allow us to switch between the various different types. Maybe they'll introduce an item, maybe you'll just evolve it and it'll become one of these randomly, depending on the stats. And keep in mind also that all of the various different Rotoms evolution forms from this one right here, the stats are all going to be the same. The only difference is going to be their movesets. So first Rotom, Electric and Ghost type. It's not something you're going to want to use, I would assume, but you never know. Maybe when it comes down to PvP, it might be good. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Max EP 2031, attack 185, defense 159, and stamina 137. So if we go down here, take a look at its weaknesses. It's going to be weak to Dark Ghost and Ground, resisting fighting quite a bit. normal, bug, electric, flying, poison, and steel types. So let's go ahead and see the moves, because that is going to be pretty interesting. And it's saying that they have a legacy moves. Just disregard that for now. Okay, so it has Thunder Shock and Astonish for its quick moves. For the charge moves, we have Thunder, Thunderbolt, and Ominous Wind. Ominous Wind's pretty neat because you will possibly get that attack and defense buff. So, I mean, at least it has that going on for it. It is just a Rotom regular form after all. So I just wanted to show you the stats there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Next up is Rotom Fan. So this is going to be an electric and flying type. So pretty neat because being part flying and electric, you're kind of nullifying that weakness to electric types. Much like Zapdos, it's going to be neutral damage instead of super effective. It's going to have max CP, and these are going to be the same stats all around for all of them. So I'm not going to just read them all off. We'll just look at this one here. Max CP 2,579, attack 204, defense 219, and stamina 137. So let's go ahead and take a look at the weaknesses. Pretty much the same as Zapdos. Weak to ice and rock, resisting bug, fighting, flying, grass, ground, and steel types. So let's go ahead and take a look at its movesets. See that? Astonish and Air Slash. And for the charge moves, we have Thunder, Thunderbolt, and Ominous Wind. Yet again, Ominous Wind looking pretty good. It's going to be able to get that attack and defense buff, so pretty neat. So I'm pretty interested to see how they're going to introduce these guys, because personally I'm a fan of the Rotom Mo. I really like the design, the crazy looking teeth, face. We'll see that here in just a moment. So on to Rotom Frost, or Refrigerator, or whatever you want to call it. Alright, so we have electric and ice type, and then same stats here. Let's go down to the weaknesses. Weak to fighting, fire, ground, and rock, resisting electric, flying, and ice. Let's go ahead and look at the moves. We have Thunder Shock and Astonish. For the charge moves, we have Blizzard, Thunder, and Thunderbolt. So this is the first one so far that we've seen that does not have the attack stat boost. Ominous Wind, and that's okay. At least it does have a double charge bar move, making it somewhat viable for PvP, I suppose. And as far as using these and maxing them out and having them work extremely nice for you going up against raids, not so much. Next up, we have Rotom Heat, electric and fire type. So pretty interesting. Like we said, the stats are going to be the same all around for all of them. It's going to be weak to ground, rock, and water, resisting steel, bug, electric, fairy, fire, flying, grass, and ice. For its moves, it has Thunder Shock, Astonish. For the quick moves, for the charge moves, we have Thunder, Overheat, and Thunderbolt. So there you have Rotom Heat. Alright, now we have Rotom Mo, my favorite one. As you can see, just look at that smile and those crazy sharp teeth, indicating, you know, it's a lawnmower. It cuts grass, so it has sharp teeth. Okay. Electric and grass type, same stats. Let's go ahead and look at the weaknesses here. Weak to bug, fire, ice, and poison, resisting electric, grass, steel, and water. Alright. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the moves. We have Thunder Shock and Astonish, and then Thunderbolt, Thunder, and Ominous Wind for the charge moves. So this one does get Ominous Wind. Excellent, very good. But the weird part is there's no grass. Where are the grass moves? Are we going to see a whole like shake-up for the moves when they are released? Because honestly, I would love to see a grass type move on this thing. It did have a move called Leaf Storm, which was extremely strong in the main series games, but that is not quite yet in Pokemon Go, nor are the assets or any sort of information found for him. And finally, Rotom Wash, probably one of the most popular ones here. And as you can see, all of their sort of, you see that little thing spinning on the side? These are going to be icons within the game as well. I would have these images on the side for you to see already. Just backing up really quick, let's go ahead and take a look at the Mo. As you can see, that little flap there, all of those little deals are already been added within the game for the newest update. And you can see the element for this one. So pretty interesting. Just can't wait to see how they actually implement it and how you're going to actually get them. So this one's going to be electric and water type. So good in the main series games. Weak to grass and ground. But it had levitate, so it was only going to be weak to grass types. But that's not in Pokemon Go. We don't have abilities quite yet. Resisting steel, fire, flying, ice, and water. So come on, give it a water move. Let's go. Let's see what we have here. And it does. It has a water move. So we have Thunder Shock and Astonish for the quick moves. For the charge moves, we have Thunder, Hydro Pump, and Thunderbolt. Okay, not looking bad whatsoever. I guess Hydro Pump is a single charge move. So is Thunder. So as far as PvP goes, it's going to be held back a little bit because of those. but on the flip side, it does have Thunderbolt, I suppose, so it would be able to get those off generally quick with Astonish. Thundershock as well as a decent energy gain move, I suppose. So there you have the Rotoms. Pretty interesting. Can't wait to see how they implement that. Alright, now wrapping up this video, we have Arceus on the screen here. So something very interesting, and the reason why it had different types, or should I say different forms found within the data, is because it can be any typing. In the main series game, you had something called plates, and Arceus was able to hold these plates, and when he did, for the specific typing, become that. So we have Bug, Dark, all of them lined up here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and look at the normal form, because we don't know exactly how this is going to work quite yet, and I don't want to go off too much on what I think. I mean, if they implement plates, that'd be great. If they made it so the typing would be random, that would be very interesting, but it would all determine what moves it can have, and then that would mean what type you would really want. Alright, so we'll go over the moves here in just a second. Pure normal type right now, max EP 3,989, attack 238, defense 238, and stamina 237. So it is rounded completely. This thing is a monster. Let's go ahead and see. It's a normal type right now, so it's just going to be weak to fighting and resisting ghosts, right? Okay, so moves. This is important. Shadow Claw, Iron Tail. All right, okay. Future Sight, Hyper Beam, Outrage. Okay, so with these moves right here, it's obvious to which types you want to be. Possibly Ghost, possibly Psychic, and or Dragon. Okay, normal as well. You don't really want to be Steel type, I guess, for that, stab on Iron Tail, but for the most part, you want to be, looks like Dragon, Psychic, Normal, and or Ghost. So there you go. I wonder how they're going to implement that. And is it going to be a mythical breakthrough? Because Arceus is in fact a mythical Pokemon, but, and this is a big but, we did have Deoxys, and I went over this many times before it was released, and I just said it's gonna be an EX raid. Deoxys is gonna be an EX raid because it's the type of Pokemon it is. It's a threat to the planet, it's a threat in general, it's an attack type of Pokemon, it's not like a friendly thing, and I would figure we're gonna be fighting this in an EX raid because having this as a mythical breakthrough, sure, why not? Okay. But it would be more fitting to have it in an EX raid, which, bingo bango, it came out and it is an EX raid. So we were pretty good at spot on with that. So as far as Arceus, do I think it's going to be a mythical breakthrough? It's kind of hard to tell because it's not like on the same category as Deoxys, like a threat. It's kind of just like the, dare I say this, Pokemon God. People get so upset when I say that. But, that the whole just thing about it, it's just like, the above all other Pokemon. So having it in an EX raid could be fitting and very interesting. And as far as the typings go, I couldn't even tell you how it's going to work because we currently do not have any information on plates or any other typings for it in general. I mean, we do have different forms as he found within the data, but yeah, if anything, if I can take one guess, I would say we would catch it and it would be a random type. As simple as that. And you'd have to get lucky to get either the Dragon, the Psychic, Normal, or the Ghost type. The Ghost type would just simply be for the Shadow Claw. That's it. But realistically, you'd probably want the Dragon with that Outrage. So there you have Deoxys. Pretty cool. Can't wait to see this implemented into Pokemon Go. Could we see newer moves added onto it when it is here? Another feature we have here is searching Pokemon by baby. As you can see, I have all the baby Pokemon pulled up here. And also another search is with item. Could this be something retaining to possibly Arceus and having the plates and just having Pokemon hold items in general? Because in the main series games, Pokemon can hold items, and that's going to be possibly something pointing towards we're going to be getting new items, which will help them in battle. We'll just have to wait and see. Maybe we can put items on our Pokemon like TMs and then trade them to people, and that's going to be a way to actually get items through other trainers. We'll just have to wait and see, but that's something very interesting to also take note of. Alrighty trainers, so I hope you enjoyed this video. We do have snow currently going on. It's not actually snowing outside, but it keeps going on and off with the snow within Pokemon Go, which means, boosted Dialgas, so I have to get out there and go catch me a couple of those before the snow goes away. Alright, so I do have my Cranidos as my buddy, and I know a lot of you keep asking, where is the power of a Rampardos? When are you going to do that? Well, I was waiting to get a decent one. Did trade this with my friend, and it didn't turn out to be lucky, but I mean, this is what it came as, 1410. So it's going to cost me about 169,000 Stardust to power it up, and about 170 candies, but that's going to be minus 50 when I evolve it. So I'm going to have to invest even more rare candies, and that's how I got it that high in the first place, is because that's what I did, put my rare candies in there. So I'm not going to evolve it quite yet. I'll make a separate video for that, and we'll max it out, take it to the gyms, take it to some raids possibly, and do a couple of simulators to see how well it can perform. Anyways, with that said, trainers, hope you enjoyed this video. And like I said, went through the whole thing already, and nothing has gone quite live yet. Let's go ahead and take a look at my settings here, so you can see the version that I'm currently on is the newest one on Android. So just hold on for the iOS. I'm sure that'll be out anytime now, as well as a mass release for Android as well. So thank you for watching, traders. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.